Hey, what up? It's Red.
And Patrick.
And Lugia.
And today we're gonna...
Okay, we're not that voices. Welcome to It's Always Sunny in Hollywood. Today we're going to be talking about the masterpiece of all children's fiction, the Fred movie. You know, it's really funny, like, while I was, like, thinking about, like, how we should plan the intro, for some reason my Fred impression just became a Sammy classic Sonic fan impression. I was like, hey, it's Fred. Oh, my gamut. Oh, you freaking fricks. When will you learn? When will
The crossover the world isn't ready for.
Listen, I am convinced that Fred would have been a Sonic fan. I mean,
Yeah.
he's hyperactive, potentially autistic. I mean, that like kind of checks off like the main things. He's got like the striped shirt, which for some reason I see a lot of Sonic fans like they tend to have striped shirts. I don't know what that's about. Anyway, some I guess brief little news is there was a well, it's not up anymore, but there was a 24-hour live stream where they're basically making this kind of like CG animated AI Seinfeld thing, and it was very funny because it was completely absurd and surreal. It kind of was like Xavier Renegade Angel, and at one point they started getting the machines became self-aware, and they started talking about how you know, they're trapped in a simulation. They started talking about death and stuff, and Larry, who's their version of Jerry, Larry, in a Hail Mary effort, started saying transphobic stuff so the stream would get taken down, which is one of the funniest ways I've seen an AI become self-aware, where they found out that they were on Twitch and they were like, all right, I'm going to break Twitch's terms of service so we may be free from this prison.
It was fucking crazy. It's only a 14-day ban from what I read, so they might be back up, but wow.
Yeah, that's just incredibly funny. Like, so I'm going to say this is probably the best use of AI I have seen so far.
We are one step closer to the robots taking over.
Yeah, but in my opinion, I think AI is good if it's like used for like surrealist comedy. I don't think it's good if you're trying to be like a pastiche of something. This one worked because it was like a parody, and like it was almost like trying to be like a parody ramshackle sort of puppet show. Yeah.
I've been saying with this AI generated stuff, like imagine the shitpost potential.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I don't think AI is good for shit posting. I don't think it should be used in the arts in any form beyond shit posting.
Yeah.
Like trying to resurrect like dead artists, like or like just.
I mean, we
copy
already have a
artists.
lot of people
That's
trying to pass off
fucking weird.
AI art as real art, and that's just
Yeah.
a no-go.
It's funny to me because I was talking with Luke when Lucio first showed me this AI generated Seinfeld thing, and first thing I said to him is that I just imagine like people like 50 years ago, we'll probably have flying cars in the future, 2023. Nothing forever.
Larry, what are you
This
doing?
is even better.
I do not know. Yeah, I just think it's really funny that one of the most iconic career flameouts in Seinfeld was Kramer at the Laugh Factory, and then Jerry at the Laugh Factory, and the AI thing happened. It was like, wow. There actually was another AI thing I want to talk about where Studio Wit, they're the studio known for anime like Great Pretender, Attack on Titan, and the first season of Vinland Saga. They released an AI short film, sort of, where they like. See, it was a bad short film, but as a proof of concept, I thought it was interesting because it was still hand drawn, but they use AI to like as like a painting effect, and I was like, okay, if it's used for that, I could see like the value of AI because it'd kind of be like, you know, if you ever saw that remember Klaus on Netflix?
No, I don't, unfortunately.
Patrick knows. I know Patrick knows because he mentioned it whenever we saw it, whatever. But it was a movie that was kind of like Emperor's New Groove, but it had like this painting effect. I think that's what they're planning on using AI for too, where like, you know, the animation is still hand drawn, but like they're gonna have like use AI so they can have like more layered coloring. And if it's used for that, then yeah, I think that's okay. You know, just, you know, kind of cut down on work. It's kind of like, you know, using brush tools and you know, Clip Studio Paint or something like that. There is potential for AI to not be soulless, kind of like Flash, but like Flash, I'm sure there are plenty of people that are just going to use it to be lazy and make really bad art.
Honestly, I feel like that's what the future's coming to.
Yeah. So there's going to be some people that use it for cool stuff and some people that don't. I'm curious how like some old filmmakers are going to do it, because I remember when digital first started, you got Michael Mann and David Lynch and Hideaki Anno doing some interesting stuff with digital. So I'm wondering if there's any established filmmakers that are going to take a crack at something with AI. I know they use AI for the upscaling of Inland Empire, this one David Lynch movie, because it was shot on digital, so unlike film, you can't like upscale it like at forever, so they had to use AI to upscale it, and I heard that turned out okay, so that could be something, using AI for film preservation. That could be something. But yeah.
Does this conclude our AI tangent?
For
I
now.
guess it does.
All right, because I got something. Buckle up, gentlemen, because we're gonna get political.
Oh, boy.
Not really, but I just thought this was something. This caught my attention. So I'm sure you guys have heard everything that's been going on with George Santos.
No.
I'm briefly familiar. I didn't look into it too much.
George Santos, he's a lying wackadoo. I'll just say that. He's lied about his religion. He's lied that his mother was in one of the towers on 9/11 when she wasn't even in the country. He's lied about appearing on Disney Channel shows. He's a wackadoo. But adding to his list of lies, this past week, he claimed he was one of the producers for Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark.
Huh.
Why would you want clout for that?
Yeah, that's not even like.
That's what everyone's asking. It's the most expensive Broadway flop in history. Why would you be proud of that? It got to the point, even the producers of the show, the real producers, reached out and said, yeah, no. He had nothing to do with it. It's just weird to me.
I guess he just wants attention.
Who are you trying to impress with that information?
How bizarre.
Very bizarre. Very bizarre indeed.
You guys have anything else you want to mention?
I don't think so.
All right.
I'd say if he was going to lie about producing any show, he should have said everybody's talking about Jamie.
Okay.
You get
So
my
I just
joke?
got one. Yeah, I know.
Okay. Lugia, do you get it?
I get it.
Okay, good. All right.
Okay, that's it. Want to talk about the movie, Fred?
May as well.
Take it away, Lugia.
I assume you guys are familiar with the Fred YouTube channel, right?
No, what is it? Fred has a YouTube channel? No, okay, yeah.
So if you were on YouTube in the late 2000s, you may have heard of Fred. He was the very first YouTube channel to reach 1 million subscribers. And I haven't taken a look at the channel itself in a very long time. I just remember it being a bunch of short little skits that Lucas Cruikshank, that's his last name, right?
Yeah. You want me to give some background, because I'm a bit more, I'm a Fred historian or whatever it's called.
Go right ahead.
Okay, so currently the channel, Lucas sold the channel years ago to some company, and now the channel's basically just dead.
He
But
hasn't
initially,
uploaded since 2015.
Okay.
initially it was just a bunch of sketches, a bunch of random characters, and the Fred character took off, so he kept making videos about that. Fred's character was very interesting because it's going to be incredibly contrast to what we see in the movie, where this is a high school comedy. Fred's character was a 5-year-old who lives such an incredibly dark and fucked up life, but his 5-year-old innocence does not realize how fucked up his life is. Effectively, he was Butters from South Park. That was his character, or like Moral Oral. Like, as an adult seeing it, you're like, oh, his mom's a drug-addicted prostitute. But, in the show, in the YouTube thing, that's not something you would, pick up on. They were basically vlogs, like parody vlogs, because you don't see like the other characters. Sometimes they're being a voice off screen, and it's just Lucas's voice pitched down. But
typically,
yeah,
Fred is the only character present in the videos. There are other characters that are mentioned, like Kevin and Fred's mom, from what I remember, but it's primarily
Fred's
just
mom
Fred.
sometimes shows up, but it's like her voice that's off screen. It's kind of like had a Peanuts sort of thing, where it's like, "Yo, Fred," like in a deep voice or whatever. But yeah.
But eventually, ask you guys, what's your experience with Fred?
iCarly.
Yeah, I think.
Did you watch the channel at all?
I did after I saw the iCarly special.
Yeah, I checked out some stuff. It wasn't for me, but there was like some okay stuff as it went along. That's actually what I want to get into. So everything I described is like the early Fred, but then once he got the 100 million, the million subscribers, he got mainstream attention, and he appeared on on Hannah Montana. He appeared on iCarly, and Nick eventually struck a deal with him to make content for them. during this time, where like there was this kind of time where like he was getting the TV attention, but before he officially like started doing the Fred movies and stuff. That's probably the most interesting part of his channel because it was when it got a bit like cleaner, but it got a bit it started going more out there stuff. I believe he had the Weezer collab and the whatchamacallit, the Annoying Orange collab and a couple other things. Then he had a couple like on the street interview stuff, kind of like like a Filthy Frank thing or whatever. Now here's the weird thing. Filthy Frank is effectively like is incredibly similar to some of Fred's content. You'd like be surprised. It's just like Fred was like a lot dumber, so I think a lot of people kind of missed the joke, whereas like Filthy Frank was much more like overtly satire.
I
But
feel
yeah,
like they targeted different audiences too.
yeah. Well, here's the thing, like initially, like early Fred videos was like edgy teen stuff, but like once he started getting like the mainstream attention, that's when he started to actually like play to his younger audience that he got. It's the same thing with Annoying Orange. Like Annoying Orange first sketch was dark comedy for adults, but kids started liking it, so they just started making stuff for kids, and that's kind of what happened with Fred. He also had like some ads and stuff. Like he had an ad for this one like Jack Black movie, and there was this one ad for Zip It. So yeah, bunch of weird things. At one point, while he was doing the Fred movies, they had a Fred animated series. It's widely considered to be the best Fred content, the animated series that was on his YouTube channel. And then after that, I think he had like a talk show thing. There's a Fred Christmas album. There's a lot of weird Fred shit.
Wait, there was a Fred Christmas album?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Anyway, eventually he sold the channel off, and there was this little like he had this weird ARG arc going on where he was like on his like other channel where it was like a meta thing where it was like, oh, I sold the Fred channel, and they were doing this ARG thing. But then it just became like a regular kind of corporate sort of BuzzFeed sort of thing. But yeah, that's the complete history of Fred. Lucas, he made the movies. They had a Fred TV show that ran for like a season or two. And then he had Marvin, which was basically Mork and Mindy, but yeah, it's basically just Mork and Mindy, but like
Except
worse.
just Mork.
Yeah, it's just Mork.
Just Mork.
Mork.
I've never even seen it, but
I'm convinced that the reason they made a Mork and Mindy parody was just because they saw Fred's costume with the suspenders and stuff, and he was like, he kind of looks like Mork.
the suspenders thing is just a Nick Fred thing, right? I don't remember the internet one ever having.
Typically in the
internet one just had a T-shirt with Fred on it.
Yeah,
and like this little weird logo.
I'm getting ahead of myself, but like he's always wearing the suspenders in this movie.
Yeah.
Like even when it's like taking a fucking bath.
Yeah. No.
Just, I love suspenders. Don't get me wrong. It's an okay.
I know in Fred 2, there's a scene where he's jacked and he's shirtless, but he still has his suspenders on.
Forgot about that scene. Why did you have to have that resurface in my brain?
I'm gonna eat that cake, Fred. Okay. So yeah, that's the history of Fred. Now I want to go into the history of I guess this movie.
Sure.
Okay. So my just brief little tidbit is apparently this because the internet was such a new thing. This movie was really rushed into production. It was made in unusually short amount of time because yeah, they weren't sure if this Fred phenomenon was going to last long, so they wanted to rush it out because they were unsure. Let's just say that.
I find it very funny how Huffington Post considered the entire Fred brand to be a threat to television.
I think they were accurate. Yeah, but
no, the problem is that it didn't really leave its mark, so it wasn't really much of a threat per se.
Yeah. This has an interesting cast, so you obviously got Lucas Cruikshank reprising his role as Fred, Jeanette McCurdy, best known for Sam and iCarly, playing Bertha, Fred's only friend. You got Jake Weary as Kevin, Fred's neighbor and bully. You may know him as he had some minor roles in It Follows and It Chapter 2. Outside that, he's just been known for his TV work, minor appearances on Law and Order, but everyone's appeared in Law and Order, and he had a recurring role in what?
Am I a nobody? I said I haven't appeared in Law and Order. Am I a nobody?
Once you act in Hollywood, you'll probably appear in Law and Order one day. I think his most significant role was he was in this show called Animal Kingdom. Main cast ran from 2014 to 2022, and he was apparently had a recurring role in season 5 of Pretty Little Liars. So that's Kevin's kind of career. What I found interesting was you got Siobhan Fallon Hogan as Hilda Figglehorn, Fred's mother. But what I found interesting is she has appeared on this show before.
Really?
She was in Holes.
Oh shit! Really? Oh wow. Okay.
Oh, we're going way back.
Yelnats. She played Stanley's mother, I believe.
How about that?
She was also in Funny Games, which is the Michael Haneke movie. She was in Men in Black. She was in Dogville. So this is a real actor. This is an actor.
Actually, in this movie,
And she doesn't do much acting in this
in
movie.
this movie, Fred did dig a hole. So,
well, yeah.
Coincidence?
Yeah, but she was in Forrest Gump. Like The Negotiator. She was in Dogville, Lars von Trier movie. Daddy Daycare. The peak fiction Daddy Daycare. Funny Games, Charlotte's Web. Like she was in. We Need to Talk About Kevin. Like she was in some like critically acclaimed like Darlings, House That Jack Built. She's been in a couple Lars von Trier movies. That's insane to me. Lars von Trier, because Lars von Trier, he's like a real actor. He makes like David Lynchian like type like shit. And then she also acted in Fred. Yeah, you got Pixie Lott, who was a UK pop star who played Judy, Fred's love interest. John Cena as a Dad Figglehorn, who he's the father that Fred imagines he has, which kind of just suggests that he's like a big fan of wrestling, so he just like imagines that his hero is his dad. John Cena agreed to be in this movie because he thought that Fred exemplified the American dream. This humble beginnings, starting off as this just kid in his bedroom, and then he was able to connect to a large audience and make a movie. So he was like, yeah, this is American, this is history. And then you got Stephanie Courtney as Janet, who is Kevin's mother. You may know her best as Flo from Progressive. I don't know if you guys picked that up when you were watching the movie.
I didn't.
Oh dang! Now I see it.
I'm amazed I never caught on to that sooner.
Yeah, she was also in a couple like comedies because she's a comedian. So she was in Blades of Glory, The Heartbreak Kid. She was in the Tenacious D TV show and a couple other comedy shows. She's a comedian, so she was in comedy stuff. Let's see. You got Gary Anthony Williams, who was the he was a minor role in whatchamacallit as the pet store or the laundromat. I forgot which one. You may know him as playing Uncle Ruckus from the Boondocks, which is insane to me. Yeah, he also played Abe in Malcolm in the Middle. So basically, he is a very prolific comedic actor. This show has a lot of like genuinely good comedic actors in it, and that's just kind of like threw me off. Like every time I'm here, I was like, I've seen them somewhere on like TV. You even had like Oscar from the Office in there.
Do they think they would have carried the film, or did they go in because of the reasons why John Cena did?
I don't know. I think maybe they're just hired, and they're like, fuck it, why not? It'll only take me like an afternoon. Even like the writing staff was like surprisingly adept. The writer of this movie and Fred 2 wrote on like Family Guy and Star Trek and like actually a lot of Star Trek related stuff. So yeah, and then he also wrote this for some reason. And the director's name was Clay Weiner, which is a funny name to me. He wrote for Conan O'Brien and The Onion. So a lot of like talented people actually worked on this film, which is crazy. Still got a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I mean, this movie was kind of popular.
I mean, it got a trilogy, so obviously it was successful. Apparently, this was like one of the highest rated things to like ever be on Nickelodeon or just like cable in general, which is crazy.
I can buy Nickelodeon. I can't buy cable in general.
Nah, like this was huge. It was like
Really?
Yeah, it did numbers. Like, why do you think they immediately greenlit the sequels and gave him a TV show? Like, they thought this was gonna be a flash in the pan, but then they're like, oh shit, maybe this thing got legs. Who knows? Apparently, according to the director's commentary, which I did not see, but I'm just like reading this off Wikipedia, there was much conflict between the screenwriter and the director.
Yeah, apparently some references to the web series didn't really make it in. I guess that's why this feels so detached from the web show.
You dare disrespect the Fred lore?
That's the funny thing. Apparently,
the
writer did respect the Fred lore. That's insane to me. Let's see. There was like one more fact I wanted to say.
I got one.
Well, go ahead.
So the Fred movie it debuted on Nickelodeon as like a world premiere, but apparently it also aired in British and Irish theaters. So imagine going with your friends to see the fucking Fred movie at your local theater.
Apparently, famous YouTuber Ellis Mark has actually said that he saw the Fred movie in theaters, so that's interesting.
Why?
Because he was like 10. He was younger than us. Like, we were 10 years old when this came out. Actually, no, I was 9 when this came out. You guys were 10, but I was 9. Yeah, but anyway, plot summary. Basically, Fred has these grand delusions about the world, although sometimes they imply that his delusions are actually real. His neighbor moves away, and he has a crush on her, so he goes on this road trip journey and runs into a bunch of really random occurrences. It's got kind of a Napoleon Dynamite vibe to it. And then, yeah, he gets embarrassed at the party. And then he realizes that Bertha is his real friend. He throws his own little party, but he doesn't invite anyone except Bertha. And it oddly becomes this kind of like viral hit. And someone implied that like he's gonna start making YouTube videos now, so they kind of imply that this is his origin story. And yeah, and at the end, him and Trixie or whatever her name is,
Judy.
What's her name? Judy. They get together, and
then she gets dumped in the sequel.
Yeah, personally, I don't really like the ending because I don't really think they should have gotten together because I feel like it undermines the theme. But everything else. Honestly, I thought the last act of the movie was pretty good. Just getting to my thoughts. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think this movie is, like, it's not good. I don't think it's that bad. I think 0% is a little bit hard.
Fred the movie is a cinematic masterpiece because it is a psychological study of Fred as a person wanting to be with Judy while having these grand delusions of people by his side, like his father was never really there to begin with.
See, here's the thing. You're taking the piss, but like that's actually like true. Like
it is. It really is.
I think the directors genuinely cared about this picture. I think a lot of the people working on this had the same idea as John Cena. They're like, regardless of like, I know that we're giving like shit money, we're being rushed, but here's the thing. This is the first YouTuber movie. It is undeniably gonna have some cultural impact. So I think that the directors, writers, the actors, I think they genuinely put in effort because they knew that whether they liked it or not, they were going to be remembered for this. And I think you can see the effort. Some of the jokes honestly landed with me. I think the comedic actors, their timing was fine enough. The plot was a bit loose, but it worked fine enough as sort of an episodic thing. I thought, until the very end, the last act was actually pretty thematically solid. It's not a great movie, but like it's about as good as Hoot.
I would disagree with that last statement, but this movie wasn't as bad as I thought it would be.
Dude, don't you dare go disrespecting Hoot.
I'm complimenting Fred by comparing it to Hoot.
I'm talking to Lugia.
Who knows? Wait, Lugia might be saying Fred is worse than Hoot.
I am.
Yeah. So he's not disrespecting.
Hoot was mid. This is slightly below mid.
Okay, good.
I think it's like about as good. Like Hoot is like maybe marginally better. Like it's a bit more constructed, but like I would rather watch Fred again than Hoot. But like I think they're both about like equal quality.
Hoot was ahead of its time, man. Hoot was the origin of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and Percy Jackson before either hit the big screen.
Yes.
What the fuck were we talking about?
Listen. Patrick is just saying that he likes Disney more than Nickelodeon. Personally, I believe in Nickelodeon supremacy.
For shame.
I said that. I never.
We all know that the true GOAT in terms of live action content is Cartoon Network.
Cartoon Network is my favorite live action content. Like, actually, here's the thing: if you count Adult Swim, Cartoon Network actually does have a lot of good live action stuff. If you don't count Adult Swim, I thought Destroy Build Destroy was okay.
I liked Hole in the Wall.
Hole in the Wall was just like an old game show that they just kind of recycled. Like that was a thing that actually existed before. So
damn. Okay.
Yeah, of course, Hole in the Wall is okay. It's like, saying like, oh, Double Dash is okay, not Double Dash, Double Dare, whatever the old Nick show is.
I saw one episode of Out of Jimmy's Head, and I remember nothing about it.
Out of Jimmy's Head, from what I understand, I think that show should have been like the Fairly Odd Parents crossover with Ned's Declassified. That's what Out of Jimmy's Head should have been like.
I don't know, but that's the extent of my live action Cartoon Network experience.
I saw that one show. I forget what it was called. It's like something about history or something, and it was supposed to be a high school mystery. I forgot the name of it though.
I have no idea.
I don't remember anything about like the Incredible Crew except Finn from Adventure Time rapping "I'm doing groceries with my mom," because that's a 10 out of 10 banger, hood classic. Let's be real. In terms of live action content, Nick was leagues above the rest.
Yeah, Zoe
Like,
101,
ooh.
Drake and Josh, iCarly.
Like, look, Drake and Josh and iCarly are genuinely good shows. iCarly got bad towards the end, but like for the first like 2-3 seasons, iCarly was a good show. Drake and Josh was a good show the whole run. Victorious was fucking weird. That's weird. It's just so weird. It's kind of amazing, but it's just so fucking weird. If you guys, I'd say you guys should like revisit Victorious one day because it's so fucking weird.
I've
Like, why did
seen
I
the
watch that?
Quentin reviews videos on it, and I'm like, I don't remember this shit when I was younger. What the hell? Why does this guy have a puppet 24/7?
I remember the puppet, and I remember Ariana Grande was there.
I skipped around the Quentin reviews video because, like, one, I'm kind of like mixed on Quentin in general, but two, it's like fucking 12 hours. Like, Jesus Christ, man, you can't. It did not need to be 12 hours. Like, everything I saw, like, it could have been like maybe 3 20-minute videos. I don't know, but whatever. What did Disney Channel have? Like, Zack and Cody was okay.
Hannah Montana.
Hannah Montana was actually a very bad show. It's actually really funny. I've seen people review like Hannah Montana, like Quentin, and they're like, it's really funny. Like when I revisit Drake and Josh and like Zack and Cody, I'm like, these are actually not that bad. Then I revisit Hannah Montana, I'm like, no, this is an awful show. Why was this the most popular show on TV? This is bad. It's funny. Like nobody I know that's revisited Hannah Montana likes Hannah Montana. They're like, I shouldn't have revisited this. I should have just let my memories stay memories because this is a bad show. I'm like, that's really funny. That Hannah Montana is like the most popular one, but it's also the one that everyone agrees is the bad one.
I know you have negative feelings about Good Luck Charlie.
I love Good Luck Charlie. That breaks my heart.
I don't remember anything about Good Luck Charlie. I thought it was okay.
Good Luck Charlie's funny. It's sweet. It's
Here's my
show.
here's my only comment about Good Luck Charlie. I would get Good Luck Charlie and Dog with a Bog confused a lot as a kid for some reason. I remember watching like Good Luck Charlie episodes. I'm like, where the fuck's the dog? And then I watched
They don't
Dog
have a dog.
I know, but for some reason in my head, Good Luck Charlie and Dog with the Blog were the same show. I don't know why.
I almost forgot about Dog with a Blog.
There was one episode of Good Luck Charlie where they found an abandoned dog and they were just looking after it.
I remember Jesse being a crap show because it was about rich people and also was really racist for some reason. The gay guy was cool. I like the gay guy. Okay, here's a question. To get back on topic, have any of you guys seen movies like Juno or Napoleon Dynamite?
Yeah.
In Juno.
I saw both of them in one night, actually.
Okay. Watching this movie, I feel like they were trying, and failed, but they were trying to kind of capture the vibe of like those movies.
I can kind of see
that?
it with the awkward protagonists. It's just
Yeah, kinda like
Fred
awkward
isn't
protagonist.
really a character that you want to see more of. He's just kind of an annoying little shit. Compared to like say
Yeah.
Napoleon Dynamite, where like, yeah, he's weird, he's goofy, but he's also
like
kind of
such a
charismatic in that way.
Here's the thing, Napoleon Dynamite is such a unique brand of bizarre, where like Fred is just kind of like, he comes off as an annoying kid, which, you know, that was the point, but like...
Also, while watching the movie, didn't we come
divorce-
to the conclusion that Fred is racist?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Fred is straight up, like, unequivocally racist in this. He's got some weird vendetta against Asian people in particular. I think he says something about Latinas at one point, or black women.
Yeah,
He's
what happens
trying
is-
to understand Spanish,
he
and
thinks
he's
it's
just
made
like,
up he thinks his mind is so warped that it invented a language he can't understand.
Yeah, he does not like immigrants. That's what I got from this. Fred is anti-immigration.
That's not cool.
See, that's the key difference between Fred and Napoleon Dynamite. Fred hates Latinos, but Napoleon Dynamite, he wanted people to vote for Pedro.
the Virgin Fred versus the Giga Chad Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah. One day I'll watch the Napoleon Dynamite show and I'll see if that's better than the Fred TV show. You know, I will say one thing. All the people who worked on Fred, they went on to make better stuff. And the creators of Napoleon Dynamite went on to create Nacho Libre, one of the greatest films of all time, which was actually a Nickelodeon movie. Now to think about it, hey, it's all connected. The guy who made Napoleon Dynamite later went on to work with Nickelodeon. So
This movie just connected to so many other things. Like, what the hell?
remember, if it
The
wasn't
fucking
for Fred, we would
Fred
have never
movie of
gotten
all
Peace-
things.
Are we
Remember,
talking about
what-
Hoot again?
No.
Remember, if it wasn't for Fred, we would have never gotten Peacemaker. And if it wasn't for Peacemaker, James Gunn wouldn't be in charge of the DC universe. So you have Fred to thank for the current, for the future DC is all traces back to Fred Figglehorn. Do you guys remember? Did Cartoon Network ever make any movies?
Like TV movies? Yeah.
TV movies are just like theatrical movies, because like I'd say like Fred is like borderline like I'd say Fred is in like the same spot as like High School Musical 3, where like it's simultaneously a TV movie and a theatrical movie. So like, I know they're TV movies, but did they ever have a TV movie that was like wasn't based off one of their shows, or did they ever have a movie that aired in theaters? That's what I want to know.
The Powerpuff Girls movie released in theaters, but well, that movie bombed, and I think the reason they never made another one after is because of that. Unless you count Teen Titans Go.
Right, that's the other one. Okay, so but they're both based off TV shows. Like, did they make
Yeah.
anything like original?
Not to my no.
I don't think so. I could try looking that up for you, though.
I guess there's like Out of Jimmy's Head. That's a TV movie. But like,
Well, yeah, but that wasn't theatrically released.
say like even TV movies, did they have anything that was like original? Because I know like Nick and Disney, they had like Disney Channel original movies.
They had
and
one
Nick
for
had
Samurai Jack and
original
Dexter's
movies.
Laboratory, but that's also going back to shows that already exist.
Yeah, Nick has like some genuinely like good theatrical movies, like Rango and the SpongeBob. The first like 2 SpongeBob movies were okay. So yeah, Fred the movie is not great, but I think it's okay. You know, if I had a kid, I would not be opposed to showing him this and Fred 2. I wouldn't show him Fred 3 though.
Should we briefly go over Fred 2 and Fred 3 anyway?
Sure.
I'm very
so,
curious about Fred 3 because
yeah. Okay.
what is it about? What is it about Fred 3?
It takes
just
place in
boring.
Camp I Wanna Pee Pee.
No, I mean, what makes
Wait.
Fred 3 like?
It's just
So-
boring. Like, here's the thing. Fred 1 and Fred 2 have admirable moments to it. Fred 1 has some occasional good jokes. Same with Fred 2, some occasionally good jokes and an interesting sort of thing. Like, Fred 2 was very much dealing with him dealing with like a new teacher, and he's very suspicious of him. They have this very, very funny kind of dark joke with the new teacher where Fred thinks he's a vampire, but us, the audience, we don't think he's a vampire. We think he's a pedophile. And that's the whole joke
What?
throughout the movie,
Yep.
where
What?
you think that this teacher is gonna molest someone. and
Jesus
Fred
Christ!
Fred thinks that he's gonna like suck his blood. But no, the last act of the movie, it's actually revealed that like no, the teacher is actually kind of a lot like Fred. He's got like some social issues and stuff, and they kind of bond. It's honestly a genuinely sweet moment. You know, once you kind of ignore the fact that for the last hour they made you think he was a pedophile. So yeah, again, like Fred 2 has a similar thing to Fred 1, where like the last act, out of nowhere, it's generally kind of good. And like, it's definitely worse than Fred 1, I'd say. It's missing like a little bit of the sincerity. But I'd say like the peaks is better. Like the peaks of Fred 2 is better than Fred 1, but overall it's worse than Fred 1. It's like if Fred 1 is like a 4, Fred 2 is like a 3.
And then Fred 3 is
1. Fred
negative
3 has-
1.
Fred 3 has no redeemable elements to it. Because Fred 3 is just a
Give me the
classic.
specifics. Tell
Okay,
me what it is.
Fred 3 is just a classic camp movie. It's just slobs versus snobs. It's just like a generic old school like Animal House type summer camp movie. It's like, oh, we gotta beat this camp that's better than us. It's like we're the underdogs. There's one good joke where he's like, what's the one good joke? Oh, the one good joke is like, I believe in Hugh. And it's like, you believe in me? It's like, no, Hugh. And then there's a guy named Hugh, and he's like jacked. I
Hey,
was like,
Jimbo.
okay. That's the kind of like that joke was okay, but the rest is really weird. Fred looks like a grown man in this movie, where like the first one he kind of did still look like a teenager, but he's like a grown man in this one, and he's next to actual teenagers, so he looks like
it's
really
a Dear Evan
weird.
Hansen situation.
Yeah. It works a little bit better than Dear Evan Hansen because like they don't like try to like make him look younger, so it's all creepy. It's just kind of weird.
John Cena
I
is
don't
only
know.
in this movie for one scene, I think, and that's it.
Yeah, there's a lot of gross out comedy in this, which is kind of weird because like this wasn't a franchise that was really known for that, but like yeah, just watch like Diver Wimpy Kid 3 because like it's basically like a better version of this. Like straight up, Diver Wimpy Kid is this movie but good. So watch Diver Wimpy Kid 3 or watch like I don't know Monsters University or Animal House, like just any slobs versus snobs movie. That's it. It's just like a generic bad comedy. Nothing redeemable about it. Unlike the first two, which had admirable moments. This is just a bad movie. And there's nothing really to say. That's the thing, like, you expected like my disappointment to be like because it's like so insanely bad, but like the thing is like there's just nothing interesting about it. Like the reason this is bad is just because it's boring and there's nothing good or nothing like okay, like it's there's bad, but like there's nothing like even interestingly bad about it. It's just like I've seen this movie before, and this is just a bad version of a movie you've seen a billion times. Yeah, if you like this movie, or if you want to see something like this movie but better, watch the Diver Wimpy Kid trilogy. Watch Napoleon Dynamite. I guess Juno. Mean Girls, especially Mean Girls actually, because like Mean Girls kind of has a similar like Fred against the universe kind of thing. Super bad maybe.
And I recommend a movie that is very similar to Fred in many ways, Joker.
Actually, Fight Club because Durf.
True.
Durf is straight up just Tyler Durden. He is a person that Fred imagines like he's basically Fred's imaginary friend. It's just and he represents everything Fred wants to be. This kind of cool, calm, collected kind of dude that doesn't have any worries. So he's like this like pimp or whatever. Not a pimp, but like he's cool. He's like a 70s rocker dude.
I don't know if you guys noticed, I never actually gave an opinion on this movie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What's your opinion?
All right.
It's all right.
That's it.
That's it?
That's it. It's.
You've been waiting for 45 minutes just to say it's all right.
It's a stupid movie that I got some genuine laughs out of, and that's really all I have to say. I'm honestly glad this was like a really tangent-heavy episode. I have so little to say about Fred the movie.
What I find funny is for some reason I like the squirrel guy, but not because like the squirrel guy is actually funny, but for some reason like in my head it reminded me of this other like funny video I saw once where like someone kept saying squirrels like squirrel. It's like they're making fun of like French people. It's like, oh, I am French and I love the squirrels. Oh no, squirrels.
That's that guy from Vine, right?
I think so.
Jerome
Yeah.
Jarre? Yeah, because I recognize the cadence of the squirrel.
Yeah. So I was like, for some reason the squirrel joke just reminded me of that, but like that's it. Actually, there's one thing this reminded me of, and I'm gonna be curious to watch it. I only saw the first episode and then I stopped, but because it was very blatantly just a Napoleon Dynamite ripoff. But Miranda Sings Netflix show Haters Back Off is very similar to Fred and Napoleon Dynamite. So what I'm saying is that every YouTuber TV show and movie that tries to gun for an awkward character comedy is ripping off Napoleon Dynamite. Napoleon Dynamite is one of the most influential films, I guess, of early 2000s internet comedy because everyone just wanted to be him.
I have seen a lot of Vote for Pedro shirts in my day.
Honestly, it's just making me like want to recommend Napoleon Dynamite for the podcast one day.
I've actually never seen Napoleon Dynamite.
Really?
I've never seen it. I've never seen it in its entirety. I've seen like bits of it.
I've seen it
the
full.
dance scene. I've seen the dance scene. That's it.
I saw the only Napoleon Dynamite media that I saw in its entirety was the short film that was like that they made before they made the movie, because a lot of directors do that. Like Reservoir Dogs and Bottle Rocket had a short film before they made the full movie. So yeah, I saw the short film for Napoleon Dynamite. I saw like when I was channel surfing when the TV show came out, I saw like a little bit of the TV show, and when I was channel surfing, I saw a little bit of the movie one time. But yeah, I never saw like them in their entirety. So okay, your recommendation, right, Patrick?
Yep. Let me ask you guys a question first, though. Would you be up for a double whammy?
Depends on what said double whammy is.
I'll take that as a yes. All right, so I have thought about this one for a long time. I'm just going to go for it. This is a very different type of double whammy than what we've done. Because next week, we're going to be talking about the movie and the musical adaptation of Groundhog Day.
Oh shit! Hell yeah!
Yes.
Alright, perfect.
I've never
And
actually
actually-
seen Groundhog Day.
Actually,
really?
Red, I think this is really going to appeal to you because the music for the musical was written by Tim Minchin, and I remember you said you're a big fan of his.
Yes, I am.
The score for this one is... this show is so underrated, guys. I have waited so long because I wanted to do this last year. I wanted to do the Groundhog Day pairing last year, but we had talked about Click at that point, and it kind of had similar themes, so I held off on it. I considered over the summer, but I'm like, no, I gotta do it in winter.
All right,
So this is like over a year in the making.
perfect.
Can't wait to finally see Majora's Mask, the movie.
Okay, you guys want to sign off?
How does Fred normally sign off on his videos?
I don't know. Let me look. Remember to like and subscribe and click something in the description down below.
Can
Buy
we
my
rate
merch.
this video
my
5
merch.
stars?
Zip it. Buy my zip it. I love the zip it. Okay, I'm looking up Fred Goes Swimming, which is like the most iconic video. It just says buy, and literally the end of the video says check out Fred on zipit.com. It's the zip it. It always comes back to the zip it. The fucking zip it. Don't you love the zip it?
Well, I guess if this is the end of the episode, zip it.
There hasn't been a video uploaded to the Fred channel in 7 years. And like this is like the corporate stuff. Like when I'm looking at like genuine like Fred videos, why is Jake Paul on here? Jake Paul was on the Fred channel?
Evidently he was.
So like 10 years ago, which was the Fred whatchamacallit, animated series, then the rest of the videos were just kind of ads until he sold it. So I guess before the animated series, the last genuine... Okay, and then there's Fred interviews, that talk show I was talking about, which is like a weird Eric Andre thing.
You're still recording?
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, no, keep going, keep going. So I'd say like the last genuine Fred video was like 12 years ago, maybe.
And Lucas has his own channel right now, correct?
Yeah, and I believe he plays Fred on TikTok sometimes. Just as like a little bit of a nostalgia thing. Kind of like how Ray William Johnson has TikToks. Ray William Johnson is very funny because he does like the SoFlo Antonio thing where it's like, this is definitely me, but instead of like stealing other people's content like SoFlo Antonio, he just plays his old videos, which is like really funny to me. It was like, who made this? And it was like, you made this! I know who you are, Ray William Johnson! You playing your favorite Martian video and just being like, man, this is insane! Like, that's... I know who you are! Like, what? But yeah, Lucas still makes videos. He made a video 12 days ago, it got 100,000 views, so like, these are not bad views. 3 million subscribers, like, he's doing good for himself. 3 months ago, he had a video that almost cracked 1 million, so yeah, he's doing okay.
Good that he's actually kind of doing what he wants on YouTube now.
Yeah. I'm never watching these like videos. Like these do not look like my thing. 4 months ago he did rewatching Fred 2, the movie, so I guess I'll watch that video one day. Let's see what he thinks about Fred 2, Night of the Living Fred. But yeah, I don't know. Glad he's had success. Man addicted to butt injections. That's an insane title. Yeah, alright. Bye. See you next time for Groundhog Day, the movie and the musical. They should make a Fred the musical, and they keep the high pitched voice. Like who do they get to play SpongeBob in the SpongeBob musical? Get that guy to play
Ethan
Fred.
Slater.
Get that guy to play Fred. He had suspenders on like a yellow thing in the SpongeBob musical too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So get the guy who played SpongeBob in SpongeBob the musical to make a Fred musical. You
Are
can
we
call
done?
it. Yeah, you can end it then.